Now let's move to politics, and in particular this morning, let's talk about public discourse, if that's what we call it, particularly on social media. Now, I had the temerity to observe whilst I was watching 60 Minutes last night and then post on Twitter what a smart and decent person Mrs. Morrison is, all class, good stuff, Carl Stefanovic. Now, that's my personal view. I'm entitled to it. I shared it. I'm entitled to have people disagree with it. I don't know that I'm entitled to be referred to as a right-wing nut job because I see a woman in public life making a contribution not because she put her hand up, but because her husband did. So, directly or indirectly, she's involved. I think I'm allowed to make that observation. And generally, if someone said that about someone who I didn't think was let me quote it correctly, smart and decent person or class, I'd probably just move on. But we live in this world, don't we, where you're not just wrong, you're wrong and you are bad. And you must be called out. Now, Mrs. Morrison also made mention of Grace Tame, and she's copped all sorts over that because she dared to criticise a sexual assault survivor. We all, can make mistakes. We can all, misjudge the room. Doesn't matter if you're a survivor or not. I mean, I hope no one goes through that, obviously. But seriously, what the hell have we become? And if the Prime Minister has we've done a few things that I remember clearly and applaud him for, but he said, we have to find a better way to disagree. It's a cesspit. Now, I'm on Twitter for lots of reasons. I like to follow news, and I do find opinion interesting, but if it is reflective of society, then God help us. Now, Senator Holly Hughes in New South Wales, she made the observation. She posted a beautiful picture of the two of them, Holly and Jenny. Jenny is all class, unlike so many others on this platform. Shame on you all attacking politicians' spouses and their children. They are conscripts, gracious and polite, even when she has to host those with no manners or grace. Nice use of the word grace. And, of course, the pylon starts. For goodness sake. Senator Holly Hughes is on the line. How are you?
Good morning, Luke.
Lovely to chat to you. We've got to find a better way to disagree. Do you agree with that concept?
Look, absolutely. I am 100% sure that Twitter is not a reflection of broader society because it is absolutely, as you said, a cesspit. It is vile. And there is absolutely no room for a difference of opinion on that platform. And like you, I only stay on it generally to get up-to-date news because it is actually a very, very good platform if you want to get up-to-date news and see what's going on in real time often.
Yeah.
But if you dare post an opinion on something that goes against the left-wing woke agenda, you are fair game for all of those that disagree. But I think what just completely irks me is we have this, believe all women movement, the Me Too movement and all these things about women. And look, I'm a woman, I'm in my 40s. I can tell you there's been a very big shift in the last 20, 25 years in corporate and political Australia in how women are treated in the workplace and attitudes towards them. But what has become apparent, it's not believe all women. It's not support all women. It is not a sisterhood. It is women of the left whom are without fault. They are unable to be criticised. And Ms. Tame is an absolute prime example of this. When I referred to her as immature in response to actually a girlfriend of mine's tweet that put something up about her behaviour with regards to the Australia Day event, the pile-on was extraordinary to the point that my girlfriend, whose tweet I was actually responding to, sent me a private message going, hey, you okay, babe? That was a bit much.
Right.
But conservative women, women of the right, we are absolutely fair game. And
Yeah.
if we dare stand up, we are now referred to as crumb maidens, which the first time I was referred to as a crumb maiden, I actually had to look it up. I didn't
What
even
is it?
know what it meant.
What
So
is a crumb
it
maiden?
actually refers to both a man or a woman who
Ah.
basically support the current patriarchy or hierarchical system in a bid to get some residual power for themselves. I mean, it's just basically a misogynistic term that lines up with the way that I'm told that I do nothing but make sandwiches for the Morrison boys.
Oh,
Now,
dear.
Scott and Jenny have known me for around 20 or so years. And I think anybody that does know me finds it highly entertaining that would be the way that I would behave. But apparently conservative women, we're actually not supposed to have a voice. We're not supposed to say anything. And when we do, it couldn't possibly be our own opinion.
Yeah.
It has to be one that we were fed by the boys.
And that's it. And the other aspect is you're part of the Murdochracy, or I'm now part of the Costello cabal because I work for the Nine Network and Peter Costello's the chairman of our board. Actually, I'm under no instruction from anyone, and I am able to come up with my own thoughts and opinions. And it's not based on where I work. I know it's not based on. I know not where I work or where I live or my age or anything else. I mean, I've already been condemned with white bread, but it is just awful. And when you come to Grace Tame and when she goes to the lodge and she's an invited guest, I was brought up to think that when you're invited into someone's home, that you arrive with good manners and good graces, and there's that word again, and you go about, and you do get the opportunity to decline. It's not compulsory. Now, I don't see what's wrong with holding that view about Grace and the way that she presented to that event, according with the way that many of us were brought up. But I'm not having you go about every living or sadly now deceased abuse survivor. I'm talking about one person in one instance. But apparently that makes me completely bad in relation to anyone who's copped abuse. That's not even logical.
Look, there's nothing been logical about the way that Ms. Tame has conducted herself whatsoever. She had an opportunity to be a real role model. And I think what she has done with her position has become nothing but a completely divisive figure. And you are either, Grace Tame can never be criticised and is beyond any sort of rebuke for anything she does, says, or in the way she behaves. And if somehow you aren't part of the Grace Tame fan club, then, you are someone who needs to be brought down and abused in a way that's just extraordinary. I have to say, look, it is extraordinary. But the hypocritical nature of it is actually what gets me. I don't care what people say about me. I don't care what they say to me. I really don't care. And between myself and my staff, we're very good at blocking these people on Twitter. We used to not bother, and now it's just better for everybody. And quite frankly, if I offend them so much, I'm actually doing them a favour by blocking them so they don't have to put up with my viewpoint. But it is just the hypocritical nature that she can never be condemned. She can never have anything said against her. But if anyone does say anything negative in any shape or form, well, we can just go you till the cows come home. And I just, the lady in Victoria at the moment who, the irony, the fact that she referred the Andrews government to a corruption inquiry.
Oh, yes.
And now Albanese is backing Andrews in the expulsion of her from the Labor Party, whilst Albanese is calling for an integrity commission. Do these people, did they get it?
Yeah.
Are they seriously having themselves on? To me, it is actually the one thing I think that drives me so crazy is hypocrisy. Zali Steggall, coal is bad. We need to stop coal and lobbyists creating our politicians, while she is deliberately hiding a donation by splitting a $100,000 check into 12 parts. This is manipulation, plain and simple. She can't spin her way out of it because she's a hypocrite. There's other people making allegations. Requited love in a consensual affair is really tough. But we've got a woman making allegations who refuses to participate in an inquiry or an investigation, as she hides behind false legal premise, who is having a go at me on Twitter at the moment because apparently I remind her of Hyacinth Bouquet.
What?
I mean, oh, look, there's many things I've been called. I find that one hilarious. But, it's
Yes.
honestly, you know,
Yeah.
I'm sorry that your love affair did not go the way that you wanted, but that doesn't mean you get to make a martyr out of yourself. And then when a woman doesn't hold the same views as you, then you get to tear her down. Like, it is just hypocrisy.
Yeah.
These women are actually playing the victim, and I'm not saying about Miss Tame. I'm saying there are women playing the victim card, and not all women are the victim. Not all women are unable to stand up for themselves or put their opinion forward without a man telling them what to say. And I think it's offensive to a whole raft of women, but it's also offensive to a whole lot of us that are mothers of sons. I
Mm.
don't want
Mm.
my boys to be subjected because they happen to be white men to false claims, and there's no requirement for those claims to be backed up with any substance. I mean, Ms. Tame makes a claim about a threatening phone call. An investigation is offered to her, and she blames Scott Morrison. That says somehow that's the culture. I mean, what is wrong with these people?
Unbelievable. It's
I mean,
unbelievable.
they
How do we have a debate about the ideas? I mean, in 3 months we've got a big decision. I think my own view is the most pressing issue is around national security and how we're going to confront the Chinese Communist Party. To me, that's at the front of the queue. But how do we
well,
have a
we've got this.
conversation about that issue with all this other stuff? How do we
Well, it's
contest
nonsense.
ideas and not people?
Well, it's nonsense, and the left aren't capable of that, quite frankly, because most of them, Luke, are intellectually bereft. They couldn't point to Ukraine on a map, but we've currently got Russia on the doorstep, and if anyone
Mm.
doesn't think that that has global implications, and now that we've seen Putin over in China and the close relationship there, we know what the situation in the South China Sea is and how precarious that is. We've got Taiwan. There are significant global issues afoot. We are coming out of a pandemic where we have massive economic issues facing us. I mean, eh, the fact that they continually criticise Scott Morrison, when our country, when you look at the rate of death, has been so low globally compared to every other nation. Our economic standing, we have maintained a triple A credit rating, unlike most other countries. Yes, debt is high, but the debt is high because we kept people in their jobs. We kept businesses afloat. But, Albanese, when we ended JobKeeper, the economy was going to fall off a cliff. I mean,
Exactly,
Jim
and it didn't.
Chalmers couldn't work it
Yeah,
out, didn't fall off a cliff. And so
yeah.
now they're criticising JobKeeper, even though they didn't want it to end.
Mm.
Albanese's thought bubble around let's pay everyone $300 to get a vaccine at a cost of $6 billion. $6 billion he was adding to the debt, yet 95% of Australians have gone out and got double vaccinated
Mm.
without
Mm.
anything because getting their life back to normal was enough of an incentive.
Yeah, yeah.
They want to now pay for rat tests, which within half a second of Albo announcing it on Insiders, his own shadow ministerial team were walking back because it was going to cost $13 billion. I mean, these are serious economic questions. But no, let's have a chat about whether Grace Tame smiled or whether Jenny didn't say the right thing on 60
A
Minutes.
hundred
I mean,
percent. A
get
hundred
a grip,
percent.
people.
Yeah,
And if
yeah.
you want to vote based on Grace Tame, then you get what you deserve, my friend. Elections have consequences. Just look at WA.
Brilliant. Righto, we'll see you in Senate estimates later in the week. I always enjoy our chats. Thank you for telling it like it is. And
And you know what? I did it
what?
all without a boy telling me what to say. How outrageous.
Talk soon. Take care.
Thanks, Luke. Take care. Have a great day.
Isn't she wonderful? Senator Holly Hughes.